you got head coach Frank Martin. We'll let him start with a brief statement, and then I'll take any questions. Please raise your hand.
Really proud of our four most experienced players, Keon, Rasul, Matt Cross, as far as time here, and then Josh, which is games played. Coming off the Harvard game, we were all disappointed, and they came in with the right mindset, and then knowing that as soon as this game ends, we got people flying to the airport to get home. They're excited about having a 3-day break and taking a deep breath. So I was a little worked up for the last couple of days because we let one get away, and knowing the environment of these games when guys are ready to go home and just take a deep breath, because the responsibility on this campus is big. And they take care of their responsibility, so it creates a much-needed window for them. But I told those guys I was really proud of them. Josh kind of dinged his ankle against Harvard. He could have come in and said, I can't go. And on the contrary, he didn't miss a rep in practice. And, that's leadership, and that's what it's about. And then obviously Matt continues to play at a high level.
I want to ask about Jaden specifically.
Yeah.
He's played the most minutes out of all the freshmen. What he does might not always show up in the box score, but what has he shown you in terms of his maturity and why you've been able to rely on him so much in the early part of the year?
We live in an era where we over-celebrate the flamboyance, and whether it be points or dunks or whatever it may be, he's a winner, and that's what I celebrate. And he knows everybody's responsibility on the court. He knows his responsibility, so whether I call an offense or I call a defense, he is on it. He's constantly in communication with me to make sure he can then articulate that to his teammates. And he's just rock solid, man. And, I said we're going to create, the day I was hired here, I said we're going to create a team that doesn't get out of the way. Those are the words I used back then. And that's what Jaden does. He doesn't get out of the way. He creates a defensive identity. He understands what he's good at, doesn't try to do what he's not good at, and keeps the game simple. And, so I'm really proud of Jaden.
I know you've been talking about having the Thook back from this whole suspension. How did you feel he did today, especially with that putback dunk towards the end of the game?
So you don't get your feelings hurt if I nitpick?
Nope.
Don't call it a suspension. Mm-hmm. He didn't do anything wrong. It's whatever you want to name it. It's a clearinghouse academic kind of deal there. So I don't mean to nitpick, but I don't want people to think that he did something wrong. He's done nothing wrong. Ask your question again, because I got distracted with when I heard that word.
How do you feel he did today?
Oh,
with
yeah,
it being
bad,
his debut
bad,
and the putback dunk?
bad. He was in a great place coming off the scrimmage and the exhibition game, and then for the last 2 weeks, he's been the other team center in practice. So he hasn't gotten reps until the last 2 days, and that's on me. I should have repped him some more last couple days. He's going to help this team. He's not there yet. He's not a guy that you're going to roll out there and say, let's go 30 minutes a game. But he, I don't know if you saw when he had that dunk, the guys on the bench celebrating. Those guys like him a lot because of his personality and the growth and the commitment that he makes every single day. He's going to be a good player. He's got to help us. Now that all that's behind us, we got to get him back to where he was at before the season started so he can go in there and impact the game.
Do you feel this is the type of performance that Matt Cross needed to potentially propel him through the rest of the year? Because those first few games maybe weren't a complete 40 minutes of what you would expect from him.
Yeah, well, it's I thought he was pretty good against Harvard, but they had a guy 240 pounds and a guy 250 pounds that some big, strong dudes, and there was resistance at the rim, and so, you know, he's in a much better place. The game was hard against Harvard to score at the rim. Josh and I were talking yesterday after practice, and he was like, those two guys from Harvard were strong. And so, you know, but that's the journey. You got to learn how to score when you play guys like that. I mean, if we're going to build the program that we're talking about building, we've got to be willing to play those kind of people. But I'm really happy for Matt, man. Matt, you know, you guys got to comprehend, like at the end of last season, he could have mailed it in, man. He could have said, nah, you know what? I just lost 20 pounds with pneumonia. I came back. I hurt my knee. Everyone thought it was an ACL. He could have said, you know what? I'm not doing it. I'm good. Because our team had basically was leaking oil really bad at the time. And he could have said, I'm not, and on the contrary, he said, I'm in, and played basically on one leg to help us beat St. Bonaventure to finish off our home slate. And, you know, that loyalty, that courage deserves to be rewarded, and I'm happy that he understands me and I understand him. We're both in a much better place, and a game like this hopefully keeps adding to that confidence.
Coach, were you satisfied with the way your team defended three-point shots tonight?
Yeah, much better, much better. Our rotations on the backside were much better. We still make some mistakes on lack of communication. You know, when somebody drives the ball on you, you don't need two other guys helping. Just need one. And the problem we keep making is the guy that helps doesn't talk. So then the second guy comes too. So then we're outnumbered on the backside by too many. We got to get better there. But guys, our closeouts were better. Guys were flying to the ball. Now this is what I'll say. Their guards are smaller. You know, so we can get our size bothered their guards on closeouts. Harvard's guards were 6'6", so we had some closeouts where we're a little short and they just shot it over the top. So, but with that said, man, with 7 minutes to go, Harvard had 48 points. We were defending them pretty good, and then we got tentative. But I was much happier with our defense today.
Coach, Josh and Matt combined to have well over 50 points. Were you trying to have the game plan kind of focus in on feeding them in the paint, or are you trying to utilize your guards to really facilitate play?
Yeah, no, we got two guys that I just talked about Harvard's bigs. I got two guys that are both 235, 250 pounds and know how to score in there. We have to utilize them. We can't not pay attention to them. I mean, Josh is an established Division I low post scorer. Matt has grown in that department. You know, so those guys are big, physical, and strong. And you know, we were talking about Jaden earlier. I don't know who asked me. You know, Jaden is learning how to say, okay, rather than try to dribble, just throw it to them and cut. And you know, good things happen when you do that. So yeah, that was the emphasis going into the game today.
You had 9 guys play, I think it was 12 or more minutes. Mm-hmm. Where do you feel you're at right now with the depth and obviously getting what Thook back? Just where do you feel you're at with the depth?
Yeah, I got a lot of guys that have done everything I've asked to deserve to play, and I got guys that are trying to learn how to play. And you know, and so when I have games like today where we're able to pop the game open, I can distribute. I don't play guys that don't deserve to play. Guys that don't deserve to play, I'm not putting them in the game. But we got. I don't have a guy on this team that I go home and I'm like, man, I good luck. You know, I don't. So they do everything I ask them to do. So I got to figure out a way to throw them out there, so they keep working. You know, and I wasn't very good, but people gave me hope. And then I got into coaching, and they gave me hope. And because of hope, I've been able to continue to fight the battle, because that means somebody, not everybody, somebody believed in me. And that's the way I coach. If you do what I ask you to do, I got to figure out a way to give you hope, to keep doing what you're doing, that good things are coming for you. And that's the way I do it. And I know, like, where I'm starting to get comfortable with some things, but I'm not there yet. It's still too soon in the season and too many young guys.
We saw Daniel kind of do something with the back of his leg in the first half. What really happened there, and is he okay?
Daniel needed to make sure his leg wasn't cramping, so he was okay on that flight home today. Daniel can't wait to get home and see his family. And he's healthy. There's nothing wrong. He was fine. Yeah, he of all our guys that miss home, he probably the one that misses it the most. So, he needs to get home, enjoy his family for 3 days, and get back up here and get back to the guy that I know is going to help us do a lot of good things here.
You talked about at Sanford, he had missed a lot of time. Do you think he's catching up to speed or progressing, or do you want to see more from him when you guys come back?
Yeah, he didn't have a good week, and he as soon as he got cleared, you guys saw him, boom, and then he kind of flattened out a little bit. And now when he gets back off this break, he's got to get himself to a different speed. That's what he's got to do. Like here, I'm going to give you something. I talk to him all the time, so the day you interview him, you can ask him. Played 12 minutes, grabbed 1 rebound. I just told him a story the other day. I almost stopped recruiting him in South Carolina because he don't rebound. And that's unacceptable. He's too strong, too athletic to not rebound the ball. So now he's averaging less than 2 rebounds a game. And that's my old fat, non-athletic rear end. I came up with the ball. If I can, so can he. If Josh Cohen can, he jumps less than me, so can Dan. He's going to be good for us. But he didn't have a very good week.
Anything else for Coach?
Guess I'll just ask the question Kevin asked Rasul and Matt, just with this long break coming up, what do you got to do to make sure your team stays focused?
Yeah, you got to trust your old guys. I trusted them going in, leading us here today, and they were great. And they deserve a break, man. You got to remember, the season's long. I mean, it's like middle of November, and we're going to be doing this sometime in March. Season's long, and we had the foreign trip and practices, and you got all these young guys, and I get the fact that COVID seems like it was 100 years ago, but the academic structure post-COVID was different than what it is right now. We're back to like normal. Go to class, get out of bed, go here, go, study hall. It's not online, none of that stuff anymore. So those guys deserve a little break. And I could be wrong. I'm not into forecasting. It's not who I am. But I'm getting to a place where I have faith in those old guys that they'll come back from this break, excited about who we've become and ready to work to grow from that point forward.
Favorite Thanksgiving dish?
Obviously, you're not including turkey, right?
Yeah, side dish, we'll say side dish.
Okay. You see what I look like, right?
You thought more about this
Like
than,
it's
than any
no,
other question we asked.
because I like a lot of food. I'm a stuffing guy, but not in the turkey as a side dish. I don't like it in the turkey. And then anything with candy yams, I will eat a tray the size of this table. So that's the best answer I can give you. Enjoy Thanksgiving.
Have a good Thanksgiving, Coach.
Thank you.